Candid, captivating, compelling. Welcome to Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina. Listen in as Dr. Dina, medical marijuana pioneer and inspiration for the award-winning TV series Weeds, shares never-before-heard stories, chats with cannabis insiders and celebrity friends, and provides invaluable perspective and insight into one of the fastest-growing industries in the world. CannabisRadio.com proudly presents Cannabis Confidential with your host, Dr. Dina.
Welcome to Cannabis Confidential. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Dr. Dina. I missed you guys so much. It's been so much fun. The last couple months I've been traveling around. I went to Hawaii. I missed you guys, but thank you so much for joining us today because I'm back with a vengeance. Today we have a powerful guest on Cannabis Confidential, and he is not just a friend of mine. You guys met Sean Enton. He was on a few weeks ago. He was a stroke survivor. He's been kicking ass and taking names. And he's friends with Eben. And together they've been working really hard to get the word out about what cannabis does for traumatic brain injury. So today we have Eben Britton. Eben is a former U.S. football offensive lineman who played 6 seasons in the National Football League. That's right, we have an NFL player on Cannabis Confidential. Oh, yeah. He's been 4 years with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He spent 2 with Chicago Bears, da Bears, and last playing football in 2014. Now, Eben is not your, everyday guy that would be on Cannabis Confidential. It's probably not someone you even would assume uses cannabis. If you look at him, he is this big, strong, powerful guy, and you can't imagine, he seems to be the type that you'd run into at the bar, not, maybe at a cannabis club or at a cannabis cup or a festival or a speaking engagement speaking about the positive effects of cannabis. But that is why Eben is such a positive force for the cannabis industry and why we need to support him, because he gets the trust of so many different people that normally would not appreciate cannabis, but can look at it a whole different way. And that's why I really get excited when people come out and speak from the heart about cannabis, and it's not your everyday, stoner looking person that, maybe can't break through to grandpa, but people like Eben can. So please welcome Eben Britton. Welcome, Eben. How are you?
Thank you, Dina. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm lovely. So talk to me about football. Was that something that you were like in junior high you were playing?
Well, the first time I played football was my freshman year of high school. And really the reason for that was my mom. I always wanted to play. I remember for as long as, thinking back as long as I can remember, it was my dream to play in the NFL. But up until high school, my mom was always like, no, you're not playing. You're going to get hurt. I can't allow it. So finally, my freshman year of high school comes around. I have my dad help me convince my mom that, maybe I can give this football thing a try. And we convinced her, and she let me play, and that was kind of the beginning of, really the rest of my life. I devoted so much time and energy and focus, to making that dream my reality. And, it's so much time in the weight room and time, conditioning and studying the game. And it really served me well throughout my career, as, my work ethic just carried me, through college and then into the NFL, where I played 6 years, 4 with the Jags, as you said, and 2 with the Bears. And it was really a fantastic adventure.
That is so incredible. And, so many people work hard and they don't make it. They don't get to their dream, and you did. And looking back now at all the hard work and your mom being afraid that you would get hurt, was there some truth to that?
Definitely, definitely. I really wasn't seriously injured until I got to the NFL and I started, I'd have dislocated shoulders, herniated discs, that led to sciatica, and this incredible pain shooting down my leg, causing numbness in my foot, torn ligaments, torn muscles, sprained ankles, sprained MCLs.
But
know,
you
the
just have
list
to
goes
power
on, and
through
that's
it,
just
don't you? You just, they give you pharmaceuticals and.
It's basically, every day it's a business, once you get to the NFL, and every day you have to step on that field and you have to be ready to produce and be at your best. And, that really brings along with it this responsibility to be out on the field and to do whatever it takes to have your body ready to be able to take that punishment day after day. And really, the day-to-day regimen of pain management for, most NFL players is every guy has, a prescription for anti-inflammatories of one kind or another, whether it's Indocin or Cataflam. And this is just for the aches and pains, the bumps and the bruises. This isn't even when you have a serious injury, like a dislocated shoulder or a torn ACL or something that you might need surgery to repair. This is just for the day-to-day grind of getting through that just typical soreness that you feel. And these are incredibly high-powered anti-inflammatories that really wreck your internal organs. They do a number on your digestive system. And, we haven't even gotten to, once you're seriously injured and you start taking Vicodin or Percocet or whatever it is, those things had, for me, just such a negative effect on my overall well-being. I mean, they didn't do anything for helping me get out of the pain. For instance, with my dislocated shoulder coming out of surgery, they made it difficult to sleep. I found that I was really angry and I got really aggravated when I took things like Vicodin or Percocet. And that's why, that's part of the reason that I always gravitated towards cannabis as my own preferred source for pain management and relief through the physical stress and the psychological stress of dealing with injuries and, the day-to-day grind of being in the NFL.
Now, you recently wrote an amazing article. Tell me more about that. Or you admit that you were stoned while playing NFL games.
Yeah, so really, I feel like it's important to share my experiences, with cannabis throughout my football career, using it as a source of pain management, even experimenting and using it before games on occasion. And really, I'm trying to broaden the perspective of what we consider to be acceptable forms of healing or dealing with pain, dealing with trauma and stress.
You're breaking through with these stories, though, about talking about some of your best games played while high. But you're breaking through to NBC and ESPN and all these places that normally would post negative stories about cannabis, right?
Right.
And so,
and I think that. Well, thank you. I believe that if sharing my experiences can push this whole movement in a positive direction, then I want to keep doing that, and I want to keep talking about, what cannabis can do for people. As I've grown and I've gone through this adventure and getting into the cannabis world and hearing the stories from the children with Dravet syndrome to our military veterans and how much it's helping them with PTSD and their quality of life, to my good friend Sean, who suffered a massive stroke 5 years ago, who's healing himself with the plant. These stories are remarkable. And if it takes, a guy who, me or one of my colleagues, there's a group of us NFL guys now who are willing to continue to talk about it and really want to push this movement in the direction that, it's been going and continue that.
Right. And you know what, Eben, we want to talk more about the Gridiron Coalition and all that in just a second, but we have to take a short break, so don't go anywhere.
Okay.
You guys will be right back with Eben Britton talking about how the NFL, they're trying to break through to the NFL, and also about how it made him feel being using cannabis during an NFL game. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina will continue after a word from our most confident sponsors.
Oh, let the marijuana llama tell you something now about a game for your phone gonna make you say, wow! The game's about the game of growing cannabis for cash. Grow the seed, sell the bud, put the savings in the stash. Little by little, your empire grows large. Put the big celebrities inside your entourage. You can choose to play with Snoop or me or Cheech and Chong, Cypress Hill, Willie Nelson, Wiz Khalifa with a bong. The name of the game is Hemp Inc., that's the point. Download and play while you light yourself a joint. The business of cannabis should be no crime. Hemp Inc. is even hot-proofed by the man who run High Times. Oh yeah? Get it on Android and iOS today. Marijuana llama out. Got to tend to me own crops, you know. Money don't make itself. Hemp Inc.
Play as Ted Growing, expelled botany sophomore and the biggest grower in town, only on Weed Firm Replanted. Available on the App Store and Google Play.
It's a lot of work being the biggest grower in town. Maintaining a room full of plants while dealing with a slew of eccentric customers? From a hardcore partier to the curious neighbor next door.
Is anybody home?
Help me expand my bud business by unlocking new strains, customizing my grow room, and completing challenges that you can't get enough of. Grow your empire so big you can see it from space. Low on funds? Don't worry. Weed Firm Replanted is free to download.
Download Weed Firm Replanted for free on the App Store and Google Play today. Get growing, Mr. Growing.
While the feds and state are doing their dance, you still need to transact business and manage your cash. Go professional and let your customers pay with PayQuick. They pay you and they earn rewards points. PayQuick connects to your bank account for free and secures all of your transactions. And with PayQuick, you can pay your producers and processors for free. Plus, it pays to have it because it makes depositing your cash safe and so easy. No cops, no crooks, just compliance and comfort, knowing you have your cannabis business in check with PayQuick. PayQuick, the safe and easy way to pay. PayQuick.com.
Growing green to generate more green. Talking with multi-cup award winner Maya Elizabeth. The Grow Show with Kyle Kushman. I've always followed Whoopi, and I think she's fantastic. I've followed her advocacy over the years. Tell me a little bit how you think partnering with a mainstream high-profile figure actually benefits the cannabis community as a whole.
I have infinite respect for Whoopi Goldberg. I wouldn't just partner with any into that kind of thing. I'm into cannabis medicine, and I'm into making quality products that people can find relief from. So to hear that her vision was actually the same, it's been beyond a dream to manifest.
The Grow Show with Kyle Kushman, only on CannabisRadio.com.
Dr. Dina is back with more Cannabis Confidential, only on CannabisRadio.com.
And we're back. All right, Eben, let's continue right where you were. So we were talking about how, you're kind of bringing it up to the NFL, right? The options that maybe we have to treat some of these players instead of pumping them filled with pharmaceuticals, and that maybe they would heal faster and get stronger. Right. So let's talk about you using cannabis during an NFL game. That was a little risky, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that it was a pretty strong, bold move to make. I really have looked at it as, sharing my experience and trying to shed some light on the realities of what the cannabis plant is and what it can do and what it can be. So using it in my football career and using it and being, using it right before playing, I felt incredibly fluid and in the moment and grounded, my feet connected to the earth, and I felt whole. And that's really, I think, a contradictory idea to what we've been kind of groomed to think of what it means to be high on cannabis, or
I think it affects everyone differently. Exactly. For example, example, like I notice people with attention deficit hyperactive disorder, right? Which normally you would get put on Ritalin, which is like a form of speed, and they would speed you up, and it's supposed to make you feel normal. But now I personally have ADD. I've tried Ritalin. It made me crazy. It gave me OCD. I think I was in 20 years old. I was going through at 4 a.m. I was knocking on my sister's door saying, "I need to clean your closet. It's messy." And she goes, "Sleeping."
Right.
And I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I can't sleep until your closet's clean." Now, if you know me, I don't care about what my closet or my sister's closet looks like. So that was like total pharmaceutical. But if I use cannabis, I could like focus. I could slow down and focus on what I need to focus on instead of thinking about what the person across the way is talking about and that light that's flickering in the corner on the right and that noise that someone's making, the door making a noise. I get distracted very easily. But when I smoke, I can focus.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing, you know, the various things that it can help with. And I've found that as well. Throughout my NFL career, you know, I had a therapeutic use exemption to take Adderall, and I was diagnosed with ADHD as well. And for me, Adderall really did the same thing. It made me
Adderall's crazy too.
OCD. It made me go crazy. And really, you know, I've found certain strains of cannabis that really have enhanced my focus in a much more natural, less jittery, less taking it over that anxiety border to the OCD, you know, a much more natural, focused feeling and focused energy. So
what I think a lot
totally
of people
agree
have
with you.
Like when I think of like parents who are anti-cannabis or older people because they tried it once and they didn't like the way they made it, you know, they felt paranoid or they, whatever it was, they didn't like. It's like saying, I tried a strawberry and I don't like fruit. You know?
Right.
It's like, that's the most absurd.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Like, come on, how do you know you don't like this if you just because you tried something else? It's like, that's totally different. You know, I don't like beer because I don't like vodka. Like, hello, okay. Doesn't make sense. So now talk about how the Gridiron Coalition kind of came about.
So the Gridiron Cannabis Coalition, which has now turned into the Gridiron Cannabis Foundation, was originated with Kyle Turley, who is another former NFL player. He played for 10 years as an offensive tackle. And he's really been one of the front people out front in as far as NFL guys being outspoken about the healing potential of cannabis and what it can do, especially for brain trauma, concussions, CTE, you know, these really big picture ideas and issues that the NFL is going to really need to start coming up with answers for.
Right. We're seeing too many people having too many of these guys just getting knocked in the head too many times, and bad things happen when you get knocked in the head too many times. And you know, you look at your best friend Sean, who had a stroke, and how you know what he talks about what he was like when he was using pharmaceuticals versus getting off of the pharmaceuticals and using cannabis and being a productive member of society, and you know, getting connections back. It's really powerful.
And actually healing and getting better. I mean, that's something that's really, it's powerful, and it's an important story that needs to be told. And, you know, I think that a big part of, you know, spreading awareness and educating people on what, you know, the various ways cannabis can be beneficial to people is, you know, we need to shed the light on these stories so that the people who aren't convinced, you know, those people you were talking about, maybe the older generation, maybe it's, you know, specific demographics around the country of parents or whoever it might be,
or religion,
who are not so sure about,
yes,
exactly, for religious reasons. You know, those are the people that we're really trying to crack. You know, we're trying to, I think that if we can reach those people and start to change their mind about what it is and what it can be, then I think that's when it starts to get really exciting.
Excellent. Well, I agree with that. I had my mom called me about a week ago, and she said, I going past this newsstand, and there's a newspaper that's the Jewish Journal. And she goes, I grabbed it for you because I want you to see it. And so she gave it to me. And on the cover, it says, marijuana is going to be legal, but is it kosher? And it was just kind of an interesting, that's like it's already for the Jewish community. They're already talking about it because they know that the rabbis have said it's kosher. But is it kosher? Meaning, is it okay for Jews to use cannabis? But I like that the conversation's out there. Now we need to get out to the churches. And I noticed that certain demographics, like Latinos, their moms are the ones that are really anti-cannabis. We need to get through to that sort of demographic as well.
If we can convince the moms, all the moms of America, that cannabis is good, I think that we're making a damn good dent.
So what's your message to all the moms in America, Eben?
Wow.
We're going to go deep right now.
I think that my message is that it's really important that we start taking a look and educating ourselves on the facts of what it is, and stop looking at marijuana from the lens that it's been stigmatized under, and start looking at it as something from nature, something that's natural, something that we need to start building a better sense of, a better platform of education, and we need to start doing research to figure out exactly how far we can take it. And I think that that's number one for me.
And you think that, the federal government just recently coming out and saying that they're going to stay with Schedule 1, basically saying that they believe that there's no medicinal value to cannabis, isn't that just a slap in the face to all these people like you who've seen it firsthand work?
I think it's baffling. It's absolutely baffling, especially I did this event with a group called Face of Cannabis. It's this photographer named Nicole Montanez. She's out of Colorado, and basically she's been doing this campaign where she's taking photos of all these children with Dravet syndrome, different seizure syndromes, who are using cannabis oil, and they're literally going from 1,000 seizures a day, one every 5 to 10 seconds, to, after starting to take a oil with a ratio of THC and CBD, they're down to 1 to 2 seizures a week, 1 to 2 a month. Some of these kids are having no seizures anymore. And to look and have these mothers look me in the eye and tell me that this has saved their child's life and this has gotten their family back on its feet. There's nothing anybody could tell me to say that that's not real life medicine right there. That's not real life healing. I mean, it's the examples and the stories are out there right in front of our faces, and we just have to start paying attention.
Exactly. All right. Well, we have to take a quick break. We're going to listen to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll be joined again with Eben Britton. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina will continue after a word from our most confident sponsors.
Mindful of sustainable practices and limiting their environmental footprint, Sansal hemp is always grown outdoors, as nature intended. By starting with uniform genetic profiles, Sansal ensures the plant will maintain its optimal performance and yield consistently throughout its life cycle. It is through innovative processes that Sansal is able to achieve pure whole hemp extracts and meet industry requirements and the level of quality desired by many of their customers. Healthy plants.
The next generation of vaporizers has arrived. Vuber vaporizers are blazing the way with unparalleled technology for oil, concentrate, or dry flower pens. Providing unsurpassed customer service and expert craftsmanship, Vuber vaporizers use cutting-edge technology, providing a power-packed, smoother vapor with a lifetime guarantee. Experience vaporizing the way it was meant to be. The Vuber way.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every day. Medical marijuana is my last resort, and it helps me when all other drugs have failed. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Doc Rob, the concierge for better living.
My guests say Razzie Berry. We're talking about nature, naturopathic medicine, as well as the concept of prevention and preventing disease.
Empower people to live a naturopathic lifestyle, get to know your body, understand its rhythms, remove toxins, and use natural alternatives whenever possible. 90 to 95% of cancers are due to environment and lifestyle risk factors. I mean, that's a huge number. That means that cancer is preventable.
The concierge for better living with Doc Rob. Only on CannabisRadio.com.
Dr. Dina is back with more Cannabis Confidential, only on CannabisRadio.com.
And we're back with Cannabis Confidential. I'm Dr. Dina, and we have Eben Britton. So, Eben, some of the projects you're working on, talk to me about that.
Yeah, so one of them we've already mentioned. I'm doing some work with the Gridiron Cannabis Foundation and really just trying to develop that as a resource center for, former NFL veterans to come, military veterans, really anyone who's in need of searching for education or some sort of help, and they're looking to do it in the cannabis world. That's really Gridiron Cannabis Foundation is set up to establish that.
Do you think the NFL will ever let players who live in legal states use cannabis, medical cannabis, or not?
I think so. I think they're going to have to start. I think they're going to have to first open it up and start doing research. I think that the mothers of America are going to hold them to that at some point, and I think that's coming closer and closer every day. For instance, last night I finally had a chance to watch the Weedikit episode with my good buddy and former teammate Eugene Monroe, and he went out to visit another former player named Brian Schafering, who's really had a lot of struggles with some neurological disorders, and to see him with his family and to see him talk about, watching his sons grow and if he wanted them to play football, he said, we've talked about that. And when they asked the son, who must have been 12 years old, they said, do you want to play football? And the kid said, no, not anymore, because I don't want to go through the same pain I'm watching my dad go through now.
Wow.
And that was a really powerful thing to see and to hear. And I mean, obviously so tragic and heartbreaking, but I think that they're going to have to, exactly. If this is something that can, and it could very well be a solution to some serious issues the NFL will be facing, I think that they're going to have to take a look at it.
Well, I hope so. So what else are you working on? What was the other thing I interrupted you?
That's okay. So the other thing I'm working on with Sean is we're starting a line of CBD products. Our company is called Be True Organics, and we're starting with a body cream that has CBD infused.
Amazing. Well, I cannot wait to have both you and Sean on together to talk about the launch of your line, because this is going to be very, very exciting. And
definitely. We're really excited about that.
Eben, where can people find you online if they want to follow or stay in touch and watch your Twitter or you got a Twitter?
On Instagram and Twitter, I'm at EDS Britton. That's E as in elephant, D as in Daisy, S as in snake, Britton. You can follow me there. And other than that, I'm in the process of launching my own website, where I'll be doing a lot of writing, posting a lot of writing, and other things as well to keep people updated on what I'm doing in the movement and the rest of my life with football and so on. So,
well, thank you so much, Eben. I mean, you are amazing guy, and your story is really incredible. And it's the fact that it's not just that you used cannabis while you played, but now that you're not playing, you're fighting for all of the guys who are playing to be able to use cannabis and to get the help that they really need. So for that, you are our Weed Warrior of the Week. It's a very, very exclusive title, Eben. You should be very excited about that.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm stoked.
And I do want to remind everybody listening that, as a cannabis fact, that at least 10% of all cannabis users in their lifetime get arrested for cannabis use or related charges. Let's change that. We need to fix the laws and make something happen. I'm going to have a bunch of really cool guests coming up in the next few weeks, and I'm also going to dedicate an episode to talk about Adult Use Marijuana Act in California. Should we do it or should we not? I think we're my best analogy right now is to say that California is treating us like naughty, naughty children, and we are getting grounded no matter what, and we have to pick our grounding, whether we get to be grounded by adult use or we get grounded by the state regulation. One is coming, whether we want it or not. We just have to figure out which one we want. And so I will get into that. Thank you so much for following, for listening. Check us out online, CannabisRadio.com. Thank you for listening to Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina. Don't forget to check out my Snapchat, my Instagram, my Twitter. My Twitter is actually just Dr. Dina, but everything else is Dr. Dina 420, and my website, drdina420.com. And make sure that you share this, please, with your friends. Give us 5 stars, thumbs up, whatever it is. Show us some love, and we'll show it back to you. And we will catch up with you next week for another episode of Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina. Over and out.
The opinions expressed on this CannabisRadio.com program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of CannabisRadio.com. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without proper consent of CannabisRadio.com is prohibited.